And good morning, golfing world. It's TGD Today. It's the round table with Al and George and nobody else.
That's right.
It's just us, brother.
You can't beat it, man.
You got to love it.
That's it. That
The
is
two
it.
amigos.
Good morning, good morning. How you doing today?
Shoot. If I got any better, I'd be you.
Hey, man, you can't beat a deal like that. I wouldn't put that on my worst enemy.
Let's talk some golf.
Sounds super great. Super great.
Just so much happening in the world. First off, the Golfsmith Performance Center
Yes,
has
sir.
moved.
Awesome. Give us the news. Let us know what's going on.
Well, we moved from Barefoot,
Yes, sir.
and we went down to the Golfsmith Extreme Store at Coastal Grand Mall,
Awesome.
which means I've got another 25-minute drive.
There you go. Maybe rethink that house situation.
Well, the house situation is what it is because
sir.
we are moved into the new house.
I'm with you. Well, another 2 years, you'll be ready for another new one. So
Yeah,
that's
the
how
She
you
Who
roll.
Must Be Obeyed Palace. That's what I refer to it as. The
Awesome.
She Who
Well-
Must Be Obeyed Palace.
Well, I wish you guys all the best.
Well, it wasn't fun this weekend, I'll put it that way.
No,
There wasn't any golf.
No, that's 300 kinds of wrong right there.
I was losing weight by the moment.
See, that's hilarious. See, I never play, and I actually played on Saturday.
Get out.
It was for the Citadel. We had a blast. They have the Citadel Booster Club,
Uh-huh.
and I've got a good friend, Jason. He started the United States Disabled Golfers Association.
Yeah.
So I went down, spent some time with them. Some of the guys from the Citadel's going to help out with some things for us. So just a super great group of guys, and I can't thank them enough for having us down
Where'd
there.
you play?
One of your courses. Where was it we played when me and you went down to Polly's Island? Heritage. Oh, man, it was gorgeous.
Was it good shape?
Yeah, it was in really good shape.
Wow.
Yep,
we
yep.
got to get back down there.
I love that. I love that course.
Did you tear it up?
The houses. The first 3 or 4 holes we didn't play good, and then we went on like a birdie spree.
Oh,
So
did you really?
that was fun. So it was
Did
a lot
you
of
plant
fun.
some corn?
There you go. You can't beat it. I killed a bunch of worms. I'm
Did you?
sorry. Good Lord. And there was a few mole crickets, I'm sure, bit the dust. But, when you hadn't played in a long time, I didn't
You
miss a
laid some
fairway.
rugs?
I hit every fairway.
You
I
hit
didn't
every
miss,
fairway?
Off the tee box, I did not miss a fairway.
But when you only hit it 185,
Hey, you ain't got to go far, to get it. So, but the irons were a little on the rough side, but the putter and the wedges was there. So
oh, was it?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're using grind wedges
Hey.
and the grind putter.
That's it. No mercy
So-
for the weak.
Those of us that don't get access to that high-end stuff,
That's right.
we just have to deal with what we got.
Hey, it's what it is.
I know.
Yes, sir.
Played the Rich Jacobs last week.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was fun. Arrowhead, you got to love Arrowhead.
Oh, no 2 ways around it.
3 nines, in great shape. We had a wonderful day, good turnout for the Rich Jacobs
Nice.
charity event. Some people call it the Grand Strand Invitational. I don't know what it's referred to. It's a pro-am.
Yes, sir.
And, you just go out there. If you get lucky enough to get invited, you got to play with a pro. Jeff played with Dave Hardball. I played with Jeff Davis.
Nice.
Jimmy Biggs, I guess I'm not good enough for him for his team, so
Yeah.
he didn't invite me this year.
I'm with you.
But that's okay.
Well, nobody called me, so don't feel bad.
They didn't call you?
No, sir.
But it was just the golf course was spectacular. Jake and Tyler and the group down there, they were wonderful hosts, and we had a blast. So
Awesome. Awesome.
our own Dave, Just Call Dave,
Yes, sir.
he's part of the management on that and organizational aspects of it, and they did a really good job, except they owe me. They owe me, Al.
I heard that, brother.
They owe me. I won closest to the pin.
That's nice.
How about that?
As long as you got people owing you, you'll never be broke.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yes, sir.
I like that. What other news we got? Oh, so I participated in a call last night, and folks, I'm just tipping the iceberg here, but this is just to kind of get some thought out there. But I was informed last night that a major retailer has been asked to pull all of their custom fitting apparatuses, their materials, in other words, their fit carts.
Yes, sir.
For a manufacturer, and it was to be pulled immediately.
A major manufacturer.
You're talking about TaylorMade.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting last quarter or last year, TaylorMade said they would consider or Adidas said they would consider selling TaylorMade, but they were going to try to turn it around. Then in May this year, they announced, they waved the white flag and said, okay, the question then becomes who's going to buy it. But I think what you're seeing is maybe a continuation of that and them cutting expenses considerably.
Well, we were informed in this call that a significant number of employees were affected, and the actions that were to be taken by this retailer was immediate. And so all custom orders,
Mm-hmm. Yes,
all
sir.
custom orders were to cease
Immediately. Yes, sir.
not next month, not next week, and that the custom fitting materials that are in these fit carts and we're talking drivers,
The companies have
fairways.
extremely large money tied up in these fit carts. People don't really realize how much money that goes into these things.
well, there was no
it's a lot.
mention. Interestingly, there was no mention about returning the materials. It was you were to pull them off the floors immediately and not offer to do any additional custom fits using the TaylorMade
Well,
product.
Can I ask you an obvious question? Since you're kind of spraining the news here a little bit, was that major retailer Golfsmith?
Yes.
You cannot confirm or deny.
I cannot confirm nor deny that.
Yes, sir. Well, in the industry,
Why did you do that, Jeff?
Just to put you on the spot,
Well, you did it.
because
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But that's worth talking about, man. And
yes.
and are there rumors of this happening elsewhere in the industry? Is
Yes.
Yep. If everybody
Yes.
could, if they would give us a tweet, that would be awesome.
At
Let
the
us
golf
know-
director?
At the golf direct, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And let us know if it's the same across the board. If everybody's getting the same information that we're getting.
Yeah,
Well,
if anybody's getting it.
We
Yeah.
did some internet research and didn't see anything.
Not a lot
but
of news out there.
It's
No, sir.
The point is when a major retailer, probably the largest retailer in the golf industry, is asked to do this immediately, we're talking hours notice.
Let me ask you this. How do you pull this off? Let me ask you this question. I was reading some of the previous news on TaylorMade where the CEO still says that TaylorMade is a viable business, okay? But it's been losing business with Adidas for the last 8 straight quarters, okay, including Adams, because that's part of the golf division. How do you convince someone that's still a viable business, and who in the world would be a potential buyer?
It's tough.
There, of course, we speculated several weeks ago to months ago as to who would be the acquisition okay? And it was just assumed that Under Armour would be coming in to acquire Adidas, which drug along TaylorMade.
Yeah.
And they were simply acquiring Adidas for their clothing and their shoes.
Yeah, the apparel side. Yeah.
That's the moneymaker.
Yeah.
And the clubs just would happen to have been drug along. However, that deal did not come to fruition.
Correct.
Or at least it did not come to a solution in the first pass. Now, who knows? There may be another pass going on. As we all know, once something is tabled or pulled off the table, then there's no reason why that the door can't be reopened and something put back on the table.
That's correct.
So desperate minds seek desperate measures.
No doubt.
Okay. So to someone like an Under Armour, Jeff, that would be an attractive by acquiring Adidas.
Yeah, but
They would pick up easily 20 to 30 market share points.
yeah, the question becomes, does it make sense to take on a loser just to get the clothes?
Well,
Because it's pretty obvious the equipment is the loser.
okay.
Yeah.
So they go ahead and recognize the loss, which would end up being in the PE ratio as far as the acquisition.
Yeah.
And then what you would do is base your multiple off of that to say, okay, the first thing we would do would be have to get rid of the equipment.
Yeah.
So, whoever the acquirer is going to already have that determination made
Yeah.
before they strike the pin.
And the question's probably already been answered. Does having the equipment increase apparel sales? Well, it probably does some, but obviously Adidas wouldn't be selling it off if it was enough.
That's true.
You know?
That's true. So I would imagine if there is some sort of a merger, acquisition, however you want to define it, because they can put all kind of nice words on it.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, they're just getting sold.
Yep.
That's what it boils down to.
And the writing's been on the wall for a while, just like Jeff had said earlier.
Well, we remember back when all the PGA professionals, which I support as much as I can, were across the board from like Dick's Sporting Goods were let go just simply because of the TaylorMade debacle dealing with they're coming out with new drivers every 4 months. And then, Dick's was trying to return previously released product and was told, no, that's yours, too bad. And, oh, by the way, you got to buy 600,000 of these new drivers. You just bought the 600,000 other new drivers
that we
4 months
obsoleted
ago.
for you.
Yeah.
That we just
They
made
let
obsolete.
500, best I remember, PGA pros go.
Yeah.
That was the
deal.
number.
Yeah.
So, the point is really TaylorMade as a club manufacturer did this to themselves. That's the way it boils down.
They
and since that
reinvented the
time,
wheel.
they've been through 2 other CEOs. They've gone through these other acquisitions. They've gone through these other management changes, executive management changes, board members, and they haven't really found the good combination or the right combination. Now, as far as the amount of dollars they spend on the tours, it's tremendous. And that's also another argument on Wall Street is, you're sitting here as a club manufacturer in what is deemed to be a limited sport industry, although it's a couple of $1 billion a year. But here you are pumping out all this money on the Pro Tour when it's actually the amateur golfer that pays the bills.
Yes, sir. Well, what a lot of people don't realize is, when the white driver first came out, of course, this is rumored. I don't have no proof of it, but it was said that every tour player that teed it up in a PGA Tour event with that white driver head got a check for $5,000 just right out the gate, just for teeing it up.
I don't doubt that.
And I don't doubt that at all.
I don't doubt it
And
at
that
all.
adds up. I mean, if you quick.
Yeah, but the point is also that white driver revolutionized the marketplace. Everybody had to have a white driver.
That's right.
They were even coming to you to have you paint black ones to white.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Now I'm painting them back black again.
There you go.
That's just how life works. It's
That's
funny.
right.
It's really funny.
That's right.
Yes,
so the point is TaylorMade did a great thing. On a marketing spin-wise, that was a great move.
Yes, sir.
The only problem is they did that first white one, and then they came out with a different design white one literally a couple months later, and then a different design white one a couple months later, and then all of a sudden it wasn't just the white driver anymore. It was the R series or this series or that series, and you're sitting here going, holy crap, why am I going to pay $500 for a club that's literally going to be worth $80 in 90 days?
That's just what I was fixing to say. There's a lot of times I'll have, guys in the shop and they'll want to trade in, their old equipment for new equipment.
Right.
And sometimes when I'll look up, anybody out there that wants to find the value of their clubs, they can go to the PGAValueGuide.com. So this is common knowledge. It's kind of like a USDA or Kelly Blue Book for golf
That's right.
clubs.
It's the Bible of golf clubs.
Yes, sir. So, taking all that into account, say a person bought a driver for $500, a year and a half ago, they're going to get somewhere between $40 to $80 trading it in today if they're lucky.
That's right.
And and it aggravates people. They get frustrated, and it's definitely an issue.
It's no doubt that when you pull something off the lot, a car is really the most talked about item. You pull a car off the lot like a $100,000 BMW. When you drive it off the lot, more than likely that BMW is worth $40,000. So you lost 60% of its value just pulling it off the lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, and the same holds true for other devices, whether it's a bicycle,
yes, sir,
whether it's a bowling ball.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, folks.
Yep. But
you get hyped. And, I mean, if you feel that a $500 driver is absolutely necessary, then go buy it.
Yeah.
Because you have made the conscious decision, I know this thing's going to be worth $100 when I walk out the door.
Yes, sir. Oh, ain't no two
So
ways
you've
around
taken $400 and you've thrown it out the window.
it. Pretty much.
That's fine.
As long as you're hitting it good and you're
If
happy.
you're happy,
that's all
that's
that matters.
all that matters.
That's it. That's it. Definitely.
I mean, I have paid several $100s to do other things that were done and over with in 3 minutes.
Yep. But now they're
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. But, if you look at some clubs
And I'm
on the
being
market,
generous with the 3 minutes.
may have been 2.5, but we ain't sure.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things to where there is some equipment out there in the marketplace that holds its value or will actually increase. You just got to be careful what you're buying.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, you've got sets of clubs, you've got sets of irons that have antiqued. They have grown in value. I personally have one that has tripled its value since I bought it in 1979.
Yes, sir.
But is that always the case? No.
No.
I mean, you may have the same style of set of irons, and you go see them in a yard sale and you pay $5.
This is something that I've always learned. The value of something is what somebody's willing to give you for it.
There you go.
That's what the value of something is.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right, so a little bit of breaking news there. I encourage you, if you know anything about this, tweet us here at thegolfdirector.com, email us, send up some smoke signals, whatever you want to do. But I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. I'm grateful to have an avenue to be able to bring up topics such as this. And one other topic, Al, I wanted to hit on before we take a break here, but this Olympic stuff.
Yes, sir.
We're coming up on, of course, the Olympics, golf being in the Olympics. It was decided several years ago by the IOC that instead of women's softball, they were going to include golf. And that golf was going to return to the Olympics. Hadn't been there for 100 years, whatever. So, now we're seeing all these, and I say all, we're seeing the golfers like McIlroy and Day that have decided not to go.
McDowell, Spieth. Yep.
Spieth is probably, he hasn't made it formal yet, but he's teetering. And Spieth, I have to give credit to Spieth. During a press conference just the other day at the WGC up at Firestone, he did actually come out and state that one of the major reasons why he was considering on not participating is the security issue. And I have said this to Al from day one.
Day one, yep, we have.
I don't care about Zika virus. Interesting. And Jeff, you can hit the red button if you want me to, but here I go. Okay? We have a Ryder Cup, folks, coming up in Minnesota at Hazeltine, okay? And there have already been 300 reported cases of Zika virus in Minnesota. Minnesota is the largest population of mosquitoes in the United States.
Yep. There's a report in Nashville, Tennessee,
but you don't see these golfers going ahead and announcing we're scared of the Zika virus in Minnesota and we're not going to play in the Ryder Cup.
I hate to say it, it's just a good excuse.
Can you talk about the reason? I mean, the IOC first off sent this Olympics to Rio because of the money. The IOC committee is the most corrupt thing I think I've seen since the start of the mafia. They included golf because in 2009, when this decision was made, they wanted Tiger Woods. Well, they didn't know that Tiger was going to go down and this, that, and the other. Tiger, as far as a draw factor for Brazil in golf, would have sold enough tickets right there to make this whole justification of bringing the game of golf back in worthwhile, to build their own golf course. Well, they're not going to have Tiger.
Nope.
Okay? And now they're seeing the premier golfers back out of this. Now, I wrote down in my notes, Olympic golf, and I put in italics, not the be-all for golf. Okay? And what I mean by that, folks, and you can agree with me or not, Olympic athletes train for years. If they're a fencer or a bicyclist or a kayaker or a boxer or whatever, their ultimate goal, it's like Michael Phelps with swimming.
Yeah.
Their ultimate goal is to go to the Olympics and win gold medals.
The shooters, the whole.
It doesn't matter.
All around the board.
Archers, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
Okay? Curlers.
Marksmans. There we go.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Curlers. I was thinking about that earlier. That's that fancy bowling.
Why? You stole the brooms, didn't you?
First time I saw it, I'm like, that's the fanciest bowling I've ever seen in my life. Where's the pins? I don't get it.
Oh, man. How are they not slipping, busting their ass? I don't know.
I just don't get it.
These golfers make multi hundreds of millions of dollars. And they don't care. They don't need to go down and play a 4 days of golf, stroke play. And this to them is more of a nuisance than it is
Aggravation.
An award.
Okay, so let's think about this. Okay, a majority of the people that are going to play for the United States that's already withdrawn are really not Americans. They're from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we get real Americans? There's a bunch of them that would love to go.
Well, Jason Day was going to represent his country, and McIlroy was going to represent Ireland, and so.
But they're playing for the United States team, though.
No, they won't play for they would play for Ireland, or they would play. They're just making the announcements in the U.S.
Right.
That's all they're doing. But Spieth would play for the U.S.
Right.
And truly, let me ask you a question. If I'm a criminal,
right,
of sorts in Rio de Janeiro, and I'm going to kidnap me a couple of athletes, am I going to go take a curler or a swimmer or a tennis player? Or am I going to go take a golfer that's worth $250 million?
Yep. If you're going to go big or go home.
These Olympic athletes, folks, to kind of state what was written in an article by Christine Brenna at USA Today. These athletes, they sell their homes, their cars, they mortgage their parents' homes. They do everything they can to train to be to make it into the Olympics and to go there and experience that. For a professional golfer, just like a professional basketball player, this is a pain in the butt. They don't need this.
So, see, that's where I'm getting at with the Americans. Instead of having these marquee players, have top college players, who
sure
have a
make them
have a build up for it.
Require that there have to be an amateur.
Yeah,
right.
We went through that when
exactly
before. I mean,
we talked about this years and years and years and years
when
ago.
the basketball pros were invited to play in the Olympics because you're playing against professional caliber players from places like Russia and things like that. They've been on the juice for years. And so there's no chance that an American amateur could compete against that level, that caliber of player, even though they're not professionals in that country. So if you send American amateurs, college golfers, down there to play against professional golfers around the world, they don't have a chance.
Well, they don't.
I got you.
They don't. But then again, too.
Okay.
Yeah. The whole Olympic thing, in my opinion, because of the juicing by some of those other countries, especially Russia, it's kind of a farce. I mean, they're creating machines to go out there and compete for the notoriety of it. All that's coming to light now. I mean, there's all kinds of people who've come forward.
Right.
It doesn't matter what sport you play. They're
gymnastics,
they're
badminton,
required. They are required
bicycles.
to juice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And the point is, I mean, look at female softball.
Yeah.
Female softball was ousted so golf would come in. Mm-hmm. That's the way it went down. Okay? Now tell me not that these female softball players, there wouldn't be, all of them female, there wouldn't be a one of them pulling out of the Olympics for Zika virus.
Yeah, true. Exactly. You're right.
Not a one.
Good point.
No, you're 100% right.
Yep.
That would be the ultimate to go and have the possibility of putting a Olympic gold medal around their neck.
And they
Can you
talk about
imagine-
that.
I'm sorry. Can you imagine what would happen though if golf becomes a huge hit at the Olympics? In a few years, the Russian team golfers would be hitting them 500 yards.
I'm with you.
The Russians don't even have enough golfers to field a
Oh,
team.
yeah, I know, but if it becomes a
make 'em.
big hit,
We've had one of the
They'd make 'em.
potential Russian players in this studio with us, Andrei Pavlov.
Yeah.
Okay? Andre
I'm just saying,
is
they could-
right now, he's the second ranked player in the country, and he's ranked 3,712 in the world.
but if they create a global stage for them at the Olympics, they'll manufacture some.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They will manufacture something.
Boy, you're on this kick today, aren't you?
Can't help it, man.
Man.
I think it's such a farce.
It is a farce. It is a television revenue generating, and if you're a member of the IOC, once you get designated as a board member of the IOC, you become a multi-millionaire.
Yep.
Just because you're getting paid off for your vote.
Nice.
We're seeing it now with FIFA, with the soccer. All that's come out that's a farce. And, after a while, folks, I mean, even look at, I could get on and on and on with politics and all this other crap. But the point is here, okay, great. They put golf back in the Olympics. Between you and I and the fence post, it's probably going to boil down to golf will be there this time, probably one more time in 4 years, and then there's going to be such an outcry for another sport to take its spot or whatever, or somebody's going to say, no, we're not going to build a brand new venue for this golf or for golf in the Olympics, that it's just going to be, okay, it was a great try, but it's just not worthwhile for everybody.
Yes.
I mean, if Tiger had went to Rio, their ticket sales would have done this and this. If McIlroy would have gone to Rio, their ticket sales would have been this and this. If Day, this and this. Jordan Spieth, this and this. Nobody cares if Henrik Stenson goes.
George, you got to give it a chance, though, man. You haven't given any consideration to the fact of what would happen if they create a 600-yard drivable par 4.
Okay, I'm off this subject. Boom, done, finished,
I think
kaput. What?
I think there's. I love him, don't you? Oh God. I think there's one. We have just one more second. I want to send some prayers up to Virginia, with the water and the flooding.
West Virginia?
West Virginia, yes, sir. And the Greenbrier, to all you guys up there, we just want to let you know that you're in our thoughts and you're in our prayers.
Unbelievable.
And we're thinking about you.
I talked about it this last week on Golf Wrap, Al, and I looked at the video and some of the photos that were produced from up there, and it was devastation. I mean, we're not just talking some holes got wet and they
lost 4 holes.
They would be cart path only?
Yes, sir.
No.
No.
There are no cart paths.
Yeah, they lost 4 holes.
I mean, they're gone.
They're gone. Yes, sir.
And there's even talk later this week that there's a possibility they may not even be ready for next year. So they're already looking at another venue or another tournament that they can reschedule to fill this slot. And, this is one of the more favorite, as Professor Weldon mentioned to me yesterday. Yeah, he mentioned this yesterday on the phone to me. He goes, first off, I apologize for not being there again today, Gene. And he said he will be here next week for my donut day. But I have to buy donuts next week.
There you go. You can't beat it.
I know. But Gene made the comment that this is, without a doubt, one of the more preferred, select, or fun sites for the players because they bring the entire family and all that. So much going on.
Yes,
Bubba bought a house there.
Yep.
Several other guys have bought homes there. So, again, our thoughts and prayers out to everybody at the Greenbrier and, of course, throughout West Virginia. There was a town there that was literally swamped in by 9 feet of mud. 9 feet of mud. Picture that, folks. Not water, mud. They just showed it the other day, live tug coverage, and the reporter was standing on a stairwell, and the mud was literally up to the floor of the stairwell, climbed several feet. And how do you clean that up?
I feel
do you,
for 'em. I mean,
do you
I
just
really-
write the town off? I don't know how you clean it up. So, again, our thoughts and prayers are there. Well, we've kind of been across the gambit today on Roundtable, and that's what this program's all about.
Yes, sir.
Is to reach the gamut. But I'm not going to bring up another 600-yard drivable par 4.
Let's juice them up.
TGD Radio and TV are produced and broadcast by the Zeus Digital Network for thegolfdirector.com. Be sure to check out our featured course pages where you'll find up-to-date information about course conditions, specials, much more. Need help with your next golfing vacation? Just call Dave. Hashtag just call Dave. Give us a call right here at the Golf Director at 844-GO-GOLF1. That's 844-464-6531. I just ought to read what's on here.
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Yeah. All of our TGD programming is archived for listening and viewing on demand. Just click on the TGD Radio or the TGD TV tabs in the menu screen at thegolfdirector.com. You can find us on over 1 billion devices at iTunes, Audio Realm, TuneIn, YouTube, Ustream, Roku, Periscope, and, of course, Blueberry. For George Honeycutt, Al Cloyd, and Jeff behind the glass, be quiet. We thank you for tuning in. Thanks. Don't go anywhere, though. There's more golf news and information coming up next.